Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, let's get into this. This is going to be a collective message. We shall see where this storyline takes us. One thing, I feel like I want to go very bold right now. All right, let's just go for some. This is like my rude deck. Is always how I think of this deck of cards. We got a Seven of Pentacles. This is a really positive message, though. We have this masculine who's been working hard, and he sees himself having great success in his life. He, sees himself as like the CEO of the company, but right now he's working as the janitor. He knows that when he looks in the mirror, he sees himself as successful and powerful looking back at him. And I think that is absolutely amazing. I mean, this is somebody who knows that either he set a goal for himself and he's like, I'm definitely going to get there, or he sees himself as already incredibly successful right where he's at, and he's achieved that in his life. That's amazing, because I think everybody should feel successful right where they are. Doesn't mean we shouldn't still be working toward other goals and dreams that we have, of course, but to know that right now, wherever we are, whatever we're doing, we're already a success as a human being. And so I really love that for him. Seven of Pentacles, he's got good self-worth, and now in walks a Queen of Pentacles. This Queen of Pentacles is getting off of a plane. She obviously seems to be somebody, maybe it's a private jet, but she seems to be somebody of means. It's interesting to see this Four of Cups sideways. Perhaps he's just now reached a place where he feels really productive and like he has a lot of confidence, and maybe he's thinking back to a time where, I don't know, did he stand her up at one point in time and he's feeling like, damn, I regret that. I wish I had had the confidence back then that I have now. He may have let himself get like, feeling like she's way out of my league. And of course, nobody is out of anybody else's league, right? We're all equal. But at the time, he may have felt that way, and that might have prompted him to, in this case, like, she may have waited and waited and waited for him, and he didn't show up, because we see this waiter coming in saying like, are you waiting for a table? And she's saying, I'll wait for my person to arrive who's going to meet me here. And then time passes, and waiter's coming by again, like, are you sure you want to keep waiting? Would you like a drink? Would you like something? Are you sure that the other party is coming? I'm feeling like he stood her up. That seems to be the scenario. Now, maybe he didn't stand her up at a restaurant. Maybe he stood her up by making her wait a really long time, just in general, and he never showed up for her. Four of Pentacles. So this is him like standing here negotiating at a pawn shop. There could have certainly been finances involved in why he wasn't ready to make a more significant move in her direction. Maybe he thought she was very wealthy or had, like a very expensive or lavish taste. Maybe he thought he couldn't keep up with that. I like the fact that he doesn't have that concern or that issue at this point. But once upon a time, he definitely regrets the fact that he didn't feel like he could do it. Now, he might have been trying to make his money work back then, but it might have been like a lot of fancy footwork. Even to get the money to take her out to dinner, he might have had to pawn something, couldn't even get the thing pawned, couldn't get enough money to take her out to dinner, or something along those lines, or just whatever it was definitely a struggle in a financial context. We've got a Knight of Swords upright. To me, this feels like he can't run fast enough at this point to maybe change something, or possibly that was in the past. He was like, I've got to scramble and make this work. I have to get my life orderly. I have to make this work so that I don't miss out, so that I don't stand her up again. No, I would say that this is coming in now. We've got the Seven of Swords sideways and the Eight of Cups in the reverse, which would be somebody returning after they'd walked away, someone wanting to express the truth of what happened. He wasn't on the up and up with whatever his financial difficulties were at one point in time. That part's true. And so at this point, to come on in and you notice that She is the bullseye. She is the person that he needs to be really straightforward with. She is the one person he really needs to tell the whole story to. I feel like he's just now ready to do that. He's just now in a place of confidence. Like maybe he'd lost a job and he didn't have any work at all. Now maybe his work has changed, but he feels on solid ground. So now he can approach her. Let me just ask about that. What is it that's changed in your life? We see that you have confidence now, which is fabulous. 5 of Swords, he's done fighting. He's done fighting himself. He's done, he might have been kind of like even hostile because he was feeling like, I can't do this. I don't have, enough. I don't have what it takes to keep up. He might have been frustrated and he might have, avoided telling her that and avoided, being present. Now we have a 6 of Cups upright. He's also done fighting this soulmate energy. I feel like he spent considerable time with her on his mind. Now, please remember, this could be a same-sex couple, reverse gender roles, does not matter. But in this storyline, we see a masculine thinking heavily about this Queen of Pentacles. Got the Magician in the reverse. That's the trickster. He's done fighting his connection to her because I wonder if he tried to even... Okay, so let me put it this way. If he was struggling financially, didn't think he could even keep up or offer her much of anything, the way he handled that might have been to try to deny that he even felt a connection to her, so that it wasn't like he was walking away from somebody really wonderful, but rather it's like, let me just pretend that this isn't even happening. Everybody handles stress in a different way, and pretending something's not going on sometimes is a coping mechanism. And if he pulled a stunt like that, I'm just going to pretend that she's not there, I'm not there, that I didn't meet her. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy to pretend that you don't know somebody when you do, pretend you don't want them when you do, but it does look like that's about where he was at. At this point, I think he's done with that. 5 of Pentacles. Now comes the acknowledgement that, like, God, I want to talk to her. I really missed out on her. I don't know if he's wishing upon a star right about now. Like, God, I hope that somehow, some way, I can find my way back to her. Look, he's in Emperor's mode. So fantastic for, personal empowerment, personal decision-making. This is him gonna move forward with confidence for what he really wants. Queen of Swords. Moving forward with confidence and intending to have a very serious conversation. He expects there to have to be a certain level of complete transparency, but also complete, respect perhaps given during this conversation. I don't think that that's going to be any problem. It doesn't look like he's, trying to dance around or find some way to not tell the truth. I don't even see him, he wants to tell the truth is what it looks like. Sorry, I needed a sip. I don't know what it's going to be like there for her. Well, we have Ace of Cups and 4 of Wands. It really feels like this is a relationship that was just delayed. Wasn't ever over. It wasn't ever something that wasn't going to happen. It was just put on hold for a bit. But we've got it now. We've got it possible, playing out now. With that Ace of Cups, there's a lot of love here. That 4 of Wands, it almost feels like nothing has been not really lost. Nothing really has been lost. The potential for this relationship is still very much there. The love is still there. Is that on her part? Let's ask. On her part, how does she feel about him? Lovers, sideways. I think a lot will depend for her anyway upon what the circumstances were. If he disappeared on her, ghosted her because he was dilly-dallying with somebody else, I could see her being like, yeah, no thanks. That shuts it down completely. But if this is a situation where it's not like he was off looking for somebody else, we have Hierophant, we have the 3 of Cups. Yeah, the big question here is full disclosure. Was there a third party? Were you married? Was there somebody else? If there's not, then let's you and me get married. That seems, her approach is very straightforward here. It doesn't even look like she's, it feels like she's not going to miss a beat. If they're coming back in and the full disclosure here is simply, I didn't have enough money. I didn't even have a job. I wasn't ready to tell you that. I wasn't ready to date you because I didn't have money and I didn't have a job. And maybe I should have told you, but I was embarrassed and I had to get my life sorted out. And no, there wasn't a third party. And no, I wasn't married. And no, it wasn't any of that. I wish I just told you the truth of the dire circumstances I was in, but I didn't. But I can tell you that there's not a third party. If that is what he's coming in to give the full disclosure of, and those are the cards that we've got, that's what this storyline would look like, then it doesn't look like she's judging him for it. It doesn't look like there's any harsh reaction at all. It looks like it's like, okay, so we could still have this. We could still do this. So there was just, we weren't ready. You weren't ready, but now things are different and now it's go time. All right, let's do this. Let me just double check. Is that correct? Have I interpreted all that correctly on his part? Two of Wands. Hang on. That's the energy of needing to choose. But he's sitting here, or our person here is sitting here like on a filing cabinet, again, like in the workplace. I feel like he was trying to figure out how, remember, she's a Queen of Pentacles, who he'll be speaking to like a Queen of Swords, great respect, truth, and all of it. But he was trying to figure out, how am I going to change my world, change my life so that I can become a King of Pentacles and walk in her world, or offer her the kind of connection that she wants, the kind of connection that I want to give to her. How will I do that? This was all work related for him. Everything here about him not choosing to pursue a relationship was all because of his own question mark about, what am I going to do about career? And it could have been, sometimes we find ourselves in jobs and it's just like, oh, it kind of pays my bills. And we can wind up in like a pattern for a while, but it's not really allowing us to, let's say, save enough money to stop living with a roommate. And if we can't do that, then it's hard to like offer a more, in this case, King and Queen of Pentacles kind of relationship, like we're going to live together in a house together. Like maybe he didn't have enough money for that. Maybe he was paying rent in one bedroom as a tenant in somebody else's house. And it's like, okay, this worked for a while, but now I need to think about what job I'm going to have or change career-wise so that I can change my entire circumstances, so that I can become the full-blown King of Pentacles. It just feels like massive life changes had to happen for him. And he had to figure out a lot of moving parts if he were going to be able to become the King of Pentacles. And I think that is all correct then. The way the storyline has flowed, this was all about money. It was all about lack of money is what I should say. But, in the storyline, it actually kind of says, well, to his credit, he wanted to make sure that he got his life sorted out. And maybe he didn't have the impetus to do it until he'd met her, but turns out that was a really good reason for him to make some changes in his life. So very happy, very good, very excellent shifts and changes. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. Thanks for giving this a thumbs up and subscribing. I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.